Hello and welcome to this week's angling vlog. This week you join me on the banks of the river and we're in search of chub. Yesterday we had the first frost of the year. I was on the banks of the River Ribble, and as you can see on screen now, a beautiful morning we were greeted by. When you get them first frosts though, it can be a hard day's fishing, and it did go on to be quite difficult, but how can you not be happy with them scenes that you can see on screen now? That beautiful morning on the bank is what I'll never forget. Back to today's fishing. As you can see on screen now, we've been greeted to another overnight frost, and that is why I've come out to target Mr. Chub. So from my experience, when you get that initial first frost of the year, canals are not normally the place to go. For me, in my fishing, I normally turn to the rivers for a bit of sport. The river behind me with a bit more rain will go back up again and probably be unfishable on the float. So we have only got a small window today, and hopefully we can get one or two chub. With that in mind, I'm travelling super light today. I've got the vest on, which has got 90% of my terminal tackle. The only other things that I'm carrying is my rod sleeve, a net bag and 2 bank sticks. Super mobile so we can try and find those chub. So we're in the first swimmers today, and the river that we're being presented with isn't great. You can just see raging through. It's above what I would normally say is fishable level on the float, but it has got the clarity, and that is why I've given it a go. So the bait waiter, nice and simple today. We've got Hinders hemp and we've got white maggot. It's as simple as it comes. On the way to the swim, I did pass a classic swim that gives us a good example of what we're looking for today. So we'll take a look at that now. So this is a classic example of what we're looking for today. You can see out there where you'd normally trot, raging through. These leaves are making it more noticeable. Can you just see how much calmer and steadier that little inside line is there compared to there? And they're the type of areas that we'll be targeting today. So the swim you just seen there did shallow off at the back of it and put me off a little bit. This swim within here is on a bend. You can see the fast water going around the outside. Too fast for the float today, and too fast for Mr. Chub to be in really. There's nothing really breaking that flow. You can just see out there how the pace is really quick. It's similar to the swim we found on the way. The difference is we've definitely got depth, and it's that depth that I'm hoping is going to work for us today. You can just see how all the debris, all the leaves are just going in a bit of a circle and just slowly moving out the swim. It's going to be much more comfortable for Mr. Chub. So just by taking our time and introducing maggot into that slack and the hemp, the float is buried right on that slack, right where we expected them chub to be. They're not going to be out in that fast water, although he is heading out that way at the moment for sanctuary. So there we go, chub number 1, proper made up. Hopefully it just shows by targeting the right areas of the swim you can get results. So proper made up to get that chub, and you can just see the clarity down there. If I chuck them maggots, you can just see, if I can see them going down, then Mr. Chub can. So it's just a case now of rinsing and repeating. Just keeping on putting them maggots here. You can see they're going straight down to the bottom. Put a bit of hemp just on that slack there, and you can just see, hopefully that's where Mr. Chub is going to be hanging out. The second fish of the day, the ever greedy Mr. Trout. Although I never ever know the difference. Is it a salmon parr? It looks like it's got a bit of a blunter mouth and that, but I never ever know. Leave in the comments down below if you're a bit of an expert and if you can tell the difference. But either way, what a beautiful little fish. Now, no more bites have been forthcoming in this swim. Now, conditions on the gauge say the river is dropping, and it does look like it's got a bit more clarity. So I'm going to have a wander upstream, see if there's any more opportunities. Now, a reel handle is really important when you're fishing. And while I'm moving swim, I'll just take you back to a recent session where, let's just say, we didn't have that luxury. So taking a look at the swim, we've got a nice snag upstream that's going to be a holding point for the chub. A bit of watercraft. You can just see how the water is a lot slower here. Mr. Chub will definitely come out. There's a nice bit of structure all about. Be very tempted to go upstream of that and trot down to it. But what the chub can do, you'll catch one and then they'll push down here anyway, and you definitely can't get to them. This break in the river just slows all that pace down because it is carrying a bit of extra pace. And you just got a nice glide here to run the float over. So like with all blogs, I begin with covering the setup, and today we're using my 13-foot Amiga rod from Cordham. I've teamed that up with a Cordham switch reel. Now, can anybody spot the problem? So moving the gear over last night, it's come undone and come out, or it's on the field behind me somewhere. So looking at the swim, you can see it's not too pacey, and there are things we're going to have to do to try and get Mr. Chub as close as possible. But we'll try and get one's the target, I think, and then we'll see how stupid of an idea this is. We have got quite a strong setup. We've got 4-pound line, and we have got a power rod, so we've got a bit of power if we need to bully them. And an item of tackle that you don't see too often, but I'm going to use it today just to make sure I've got some bait down on the bottom, because it is only a short trot, and I want to make sure the maggots are on the bottom but in the swim. Nice and simple. You just close it up, put your hook through the hole and into the cork, pull that down. When it hits the bottom, that pushes up, opens the flap and releases all the bait. It's a great tool for baiting a swim when you want that bait to be on the bottom. And remember, the bottom of a river moves slower than the top, so if you put that bait on the bottom, it's just going to trickle on the bottom through the swim. I'm going to place this here, and then that bait's just going to go along the bottom in that swim, and hopefully keep the chub in the swim where we can catch them and not chasing the maggots that are going downstream. We was using a 1.6 gram float. I'm going to up that today to a 2 gram, just because I need that weight to get down in the swim and hold back. I don't want the float going like that today, because I'm going to be holding back over that bait. I need the float to be at that type of angle as it's going through. We haven't got much line to work with. Under normal conditions I would stick with the 1.6, but today I'm definitely going to need that weight because I'm going to be holding back. So I just fed that bait into the swim round about there. You can just see how nice that float's going through. It's a nice pace. It's just edging through the swim. It isn't bombing through like the leaves around it. We can just hold back and just edge that, and we know we're going right over the top of where we fed them maggots. So hopefully below it will be Mr. Chub. The river is picking up pace, so we are against the clock most definitely. It's getting harder and harder now, and we're going through the swim even quicker. I'm continuing to put them bait droppers in, and the challenge now is just one chub. If we can get one chub, it'll be a result, but the clock is ticking, and if I'm honest with you, it's ticking away. So we've hooked one. Let's just see how well we do with this one, and we'll make a decision on whether we go for any more. But it's been a bit easier had I brought the GoPro, but I'm just going to have to use my other hand to turn the spool. As long as he stays in that bit of the swim, we're okay. So far so good. Got a nice short line, which is the only reason I'm even trying this, is the fact that it's a short swim, and yeah, we can try and get it out. This won't be the longest video we'll ever put up on the channel, but hopefully it just shows if you adapt your feeding, you can get the fish where you want them and get them quite close to you. I'm proper made up with this chub. Hard worked for, but it's taken a bit of watercraft to catch it. So what an adventure that was. We're in the second swim of the day, and regulars to the channel will recognise it. It's got a bit of water on. Probably never fished it with this much actually in it, but there is a bit of clarity in the margin. It's given me a glimmer of hope. So we've been at it probably about 15-20 minutes, and I've ran out the amount of leaves that I've caught. But that's just part and parcel of autumn fishing, isn't it? Keep on going. Your gut feeling in fishing is always important. You know, if you feel like you should get a bite, carry on. I will only ever give up if I know deep down that I'm wasting my time. So truth be told, I don't think I've ever fished this swim with so much pace on it. I'm right in the middle of the river. The float has just buried and been into a fish. Just going to take it easy, just try my best to get it in. Got that reel just ticking over. We've got a handle this time, which is always a bonus. But it has taken, oh my god, I cannot believe it's just come off. I was about to say it has taken an absolute age to get a bite. You can see the river's like a torrent. No, I'm gutted, absolutely gutted. This weekend I had planned to release a video of me and my daughter on the banks of the River Weaver fishing for bream. Sadly, since recording the video that you've just watched and the session that I'm out on today, my uncle, who you see on the videos regular, been fishing together on the bank for 15 years, so any regulars on the channel will know he's on the bank regular. His daughter and my cousin was sadly knocked over by a car on the way home from college. At the moment she's in intensive care in a bad way and is fighting for her life, so fingers crossed, and I'm sure you guys in the comments down below will leave all manner of support for me uncle and my family at this hardest of times. We hope to God that she pulls through, and all the best wishes down below are most welcome. With that in mind, I decided obviously not to release a video of me and my daughter on the bank fishing, and release a video that probably 9 times out of 10 might not make it onto the channel. But hopefully it's shown that even in the hardest of conditions and the hardest of times, there is a little ray of light in any hard time. With that, I want to wish you all the tightest lines in your own fishing, and we'll catch you all next week. Tight lines.